Hi everyone, welcome to this week's home learning video for Year 5 with me, Mrs. Morgan. I'm excited to be able to share the learning tasks that you've got coming up this week, which I'll go through with you in a little moment through the explanation. Before I do, I just wanted to say that I had the opportunity, along with the other Year 5 teachers, to be able to make phone calls home to some of you this week, and it was so lovely to be able to hear how fantastically well you've been getting on at home. It just sounds like such positive vibes coming from all of you, and all of you are working really hard on the tasks, so really well done. Massive credit to you to getting on with the tasks at home, and making us proud as always. This week I'm going to start talking you through some of the explanations of the tasks that you've got set, so I'm just going to transfer over to the screen now for you. Okay, so I'm going to open up your explanation task, which you've got here. Okay, so this is opened up from the 4th of the 5th, and your explanation task here, just to introduce you to the activities and the normal structure that you're used to seeing for your explanation task here. So we've had a little look at the curriculum map, and we've put together tasks and ideas based on the sorts of subjects that you would have been studying this week had you been in school. So the first thing I'm going to talk you through here, you've got the maths task. I know last week you had slightly different maths challenges that were set. Previously you've been working on those tasks from the White Rose. This week your tasks go back to the White Rose, so you've got the link here for White Rose Maths to lead you to finding all the activities that you're going to be working on for this week for your maths challenges, and then of course the Friday maths challenge as well. This week for your maths areas for study, it should be all revision areas. They should be areas that you've studied before, so you should feel really confident to be able to work through the activities that you've got there. Don't forget as well, you can still access the tasks from the previous weeks. So if you haven't had the opportunity to work through some of them yet, which I know not all of you have, which is fine, there's still the opportunity to be able to go back and look at other tasks to support you in your learning at home. With regard to the English task, what I'm going to do is just talk through this roughly for you, and then I'm going to come back to it at the very end with more detail, so that you can then come back to the end of the video rather than having to come back and find the middle to explain the task if you're wanting to rewatch it again with me. So I'll do that at the end. So I know in the most recent weeks you've been studying the Highwayman poem, which is very exciting. It's one of my favourites, so I hope you've all enjoyed that whilst reading it at home. This week, though, we thought we're going to move on a little bit to keep it fresh, and to keep something new coming to you this week, which links to your geography topic work to do with natural disasters. And this week's writing task is linked to the idea of you being around to have witnessed a volcano erupting. So your task is going to be writing an eyewitness report about this exploding volcano. There is actually a video link here for you to be able to watch the volcano and to be able to take some notes on. Specifically, as an eyewitness report, it's going to be the things that you can see happening, the things that you heard, the things that perhaps you smelled, and certainly your opinion on the things that you felt whilst you were there watching this particular disaster occurring. Okay, I'm going to talk a bit more detail about that for you in a moment in terms of the sorts of features of writing we might expect to see there. So I'll come back to that in a moment. As usual, you've got your spelling task if you scroll down the explanation task here. So you've got spot Mr. Whoops's mistakes. So you've got your Year 3-4 spelling mat to help you, and that should be very familiar, that style of task that you've got coming here. There's also, as part of the SPAGMAT activity, you've got questions about parentheses, conjunctions, homophones, fronted adverbials, and standard English questions that really just get you to start thinking about helping you to write sentences that make sense. Mr. Whoops has also added in a suffix question, so you need to think about the suffixes we've learned in school, so those words ending in ed, ing, ibble, ly, able, etc. There's 3 different levels for you to choose from, and of course all the answers are there available for you to check your own learning afterwards. So all of these areas are areas that we've studied already in school, so hopefully you should feel really confident when working through those. Just make sure you check that you've got the level that's most suited to you in your learning. Okay, moving down then, we've got the reading aspect of your home learning. So as always, you'll find in the Google Drive, there's 2 comprehensions. One this week is going to be based on Greece, and the other is based on a fantastic poem called Beowulf. There also is a fun reading scavenger hunt for you to have a try as well at home, which requires you to search for different books with different things on them. So one might be a rhyme, it might be asking you to find one that's factual, one that contains an index, and lots more different books for you to be able to see if you can find at home. Scrolling down then, we've got your science task this week. This half term in science, we would have been exploring what are called reversible and irreversible changes. So this week's task introduces you to what a reversible and irreversible change is, and then it gives you lots of different examples of changes, such as changing bread into toast, melting ice to get water, to have a go at sorting correctly. And there is a document within the drive to help you have a little look a bit further. I'll come back to that in a moment to show you exactly where to find those things. Okay, so moving on to your topic work then. Again, just a quick overview for you, and I'll go back through everything properly, opening all the documents so that you can see them in a moment. So it's Volcano Week. So topic work this week would have been around a volcano. There is a set of instructions for you actually to create your own volcano at home this week, which sounds rather exciting. It would probably be sensible if you had some parent supervision with this one. There's a list of different items that you're going to need. Please do take pictures. We've been really grateful to have pictures sent in to us so that we can see all of the fantastic home learning that you're doing. We miss so much being able to see all of the things that you're doing whilst you're not in school, and we'd love so much to be able to see all the things that you're doing at home, particularly as Mrs. Saleh has been putting together a celebration assembly. It'd be really nice to be able to share more photos of the things that you guys are up to. I know lots of parents I spoke to this week said that they've been storing all their photos up at home, but please send them in to our usual email address so that we can perhaps involve those next week in the celebration assembly. Anyway, moving back to the task, within the topic-based tasks, you've also got a task that helps you learn a little bit more about volcanoes and might involve some research too. So one of the tasks asks you to research where in the world famous volcanoes are found, so where they're located. Another gets you to match key volcano vocabulary, that's a bit of a tongue twister, with the correct meaning. And the last task gives you statements about volcanoes, and you have to decide whether they're true or whether they're false. And the great thing about that is once you've had a go and checked your answers, you can then test somebody else. I'm going to go back to the drive so that you can have a little look at some of the other tasks with me. You'll find that they're all located in a very similar way that you should be used to by now. So we've just looked at the explanation task together, which is the first file here. Above, we've got the maths task this week. So if you click in the maths folder, you should be able to see the activities that you've got coming up for this week. So you've got some multiplying and you've got some division activities, as well as calculating perimeter, it looks like here, along with the answer sheets as well. So all of the activities you've got should be available for you here in this maths folder. You've also got your volcano topic work in here. So if I click that one there for you, you should be able to see the activities I've just spoken through with you just now. So here is make your own volcano science activity. So at the top, you'll be able to see all the different items that you're going to actually need in order to be able to take part in this activity at home. Hopefully, most of these items that you should have in your home anyway. So you've got washing up liquid, vinegar, a plastic cup, bicarbonate of soda, and red food colouring, of course, for the lava. It does say that you could, if you wanted to, build a paper mache volcano. So you could do that as an extra or an alternative if you wanted for extra effect. Okay, so I think that's what's pictured here above. It's got your method, so it tells you step by step exactly what you need to do with all these ingredients, and at the bottom explains the science behind it. I'm not going to talk too much about that because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but that one sounds really exciting, and definitely want some photos of those coming in to us, please. Okay, so here is the activity I said to you about the famous volcanoes and locating them around the world. So you're going to have to do a little bit of research there yourself and having to have a little look up some of these volcanoes and where they can be found. Okay, so you've got your map here and you can see the different examples of the names of them, and you need to be able to find out where they are to be able to label them on your map. Okay, so here is the match the volcano vocabulary. That was the tongue twister. So at the bottom here, you can see all of the different technical vocab words you've got associated with the volcano, and you've got statements here in terms of definitions of what each of them might mean. If it was me and I was doing this, I would probably have a little read through first of all of some of the definitions, have a little look at some of the words you've got, and I would pick out probably those that are most obvious first. So for example, where I'm looking at here, the cloud of ash formed above the volcano from the force of the volcanic explosion, the fact that it says the cloud of ash, I'm thinking it's probably going to be ash cloud. So it's got some here that are probably more obvious than others. So I'd probably start with filling those in first, and I'd probably put a pencil line through the ones that I've completed so that I know which ones I've got left. So just an idea in terms of sort of starting points for you. Okay, and you've got your answers down there as well. The last volcano activity that you've got here is your true or false task. It comes with a sort of mini booklet for you to be able to cut out and fold in order to put your true and false answers into. So you need to cut the booklet out first of all, and then below you've got sorting pouches, which are either true or false for your statements to go into. Those need to be cut out and put on one on each side of the inside of your booklet. And then below that you'll see you've got some facts. Okay, there they are. And once they're cut out, you need to sort them and pop them in which booklet you think, whether they're true or whether they're false, into the correct pouch. And then you've got the answers to be able to test to see whether you were right or not. Then if you wanted to, you could always test somebody else in your home and see if they get the answers right themselves. Okay, I'm just going to go back into our week 7 topic folder for this week's home learning. And you should be able to see there the other activities we've got. I've talked through already the maths folder activities and our topic work. So the other ones I just want to show you first so you know where to find them. We've got the SPAG activity here. Okay, so it's Spring Term 1 in the way that it's titled. So these should be very familiar activities to you now. You've got your reading comprehensions. So here's the Beowulf reading comprehension, which I spoke to you about. So you've got your text to read through and the poem. And then you've got a translation of part of the poem, because sometimes poems are a little bit tricky to interpret exactly what they're trying to say. So hopefully you'll find that helpful. And then you've got your questions that follow on. So as always, please make sure you are referring back to the text and have that alongside you whilst you're answering the questions, just to make sure you're really making sure you're looking in the right places for your answers. Okay. Same with your second comprehension, you've got facts about Greece. Okay, so you've got all of your text there and some pictures as well, which look lovely. And then your questions to follow. Okay, scrolling down, if you remember, I mentioned to you about the book scavenger hunt. So you've got the examples of the sorts of books that you might be able to find on your shelves at home. So it says, can you find a book for an animal as the main character, a book with a dragon in it, a book with more than 150 pages. So you've got lots of different examples. Let's see how many of those you can tick off this week. Okay, so here's the spelling task. So you've got spot Mr. Whoops' mistakes. So that should all be there for you as well to be able to work through. That should be really familiar to you by now. You've got the reversible and irreversible changes, the science activity which I spoke to you about. So the first activity, you're simply just trying to decide which changes are reversible and which are irreversible. If you scroll down, there is actually a link here to a BBC Bitesize in which it gives you more information about irreversible or chemical changes, so that you can have a little watch of those to give you a bit more information. And then activity 2, you've got examples of different pictures here which show changes that are either reversible or irreversible. You need to write down on a piece of paper, or you could draw if you want to your own picture to show the changes which you think are actually happening. Okay, so I've just gone back into the Google Drive for this week's home learning, and I want to be able to talk through a little bit more about the English task for you. So if you scroll down to the writing activity and open that up, we've got the eyewitness account of the exploding volcano to go through. So in the first instance, the first thing you want to be able to do is to be able to open up this video link, and that's where you can actually watch the erupting volcano. So you need to imagine that you are somebody there that has witnessed this volcano erupting, obviously from a safe distance. The things you need to think about that are key when watching this are the things that you see, hear, smell and feel, as they're all the things that you're going to be describing that you witnessed firsthand when watching the volcano erupt. So what I would do is I would write down on a piece of paper these 4 areas of see, hear, smell and feel. Sorry about my jagged tearing along the bottom. My class know I'm not very good at tearing bits of paper. I'm sure you'll do yours far more neatly than me. But if you can make a note as you're watching of those 4 key areas, then those notes will be really useful to put into your writing later. So in order to understand the task, let's put it a bit better into context. So imagine you're staying on the next island or the mainland, and you're looking out to the island where the volcano erupted from that safe distance. Luckily for you, you weren't where the volcano was at the time. You're writing your eyewitness account to describe what you saw, what you heard, what you smelt and what you felt. So the best thing to do is to start off with a brief introduction explaining where you were and how you came to be where you were at the time you witnessed the volcano erupting. And then you can go into the detail in terms of the build up to the volcano erupting, in terms of what happened before, any signs that you noticed that something strange was going on, and then the description itself about what you actually saw when the volcano exploded. Don't forget you can watch the video as many times as you like, but the best and most important thing to do is make sure you're writing everything in time order, so chronological order in terms of the order the events occurred. Let's have a little look at the model together. There's also a checklist you'll find on the page after the model, which gives you again the key criteria, key skills we're looking for in your writing. So I'm not going to read all of this to you. I'm just going to pick out a few key bits that you might find useful when writing your own eyewitness account. So as I said, the structure, you're thinking first of all, explaining about why you are where you are, and perhaps put in a personal opinion in terms of what it was that you saw. Wow, first I must tell you how happy I am to be alive. What I have just seen was unbelievably scary and unreal. So straight away here we've got feelings and opinions about the main event that's occurring. I'd been visiting the Greek islands with my family on our annual summer holiday. Mum had wanted us to stay on a neighbouring island. However, all the hotels had been fully booked, so we took a villa on this beautiful island, and thank goodness we did. So there's the introduction explaining where this person who'd witnessed the volcano erupting that they're going to write about later explains why they are where they are and how they became to be there. So here's a bit of a background. So before the volcano erupts, you're going to do a little bit of a build up to it happening. From day 3 of our vacation, things started happening which were unsettling to say the least. So there's your hook line into sort of listing things that might be quite strange that led up to this main event. Firstly, we felt the ground tremble under our feet on a few occasions. It never lasted long, but you knew it had happened. Then, yesterday, we felt a proper earthquake. Notice here how a colon's been used, because it's going to then list the things that happened relating to the idea of an earthquake. So it's an expanded list. Plates fell off the dresser, semicolon. Next idea in the expanded list. Furniture shook, semicolon. A few tiles fell off the roof, semicolon. And the weather vane on the local church toppled to the ground in a graceful nosedive. On the radio, reports urged residents on the neighbouring island to leave immediately, and small boats urgently darted between the 2 islands to bring people over to our island safely. So you can see there's a bit of a build-up there. It hasn't yet described any of the event of the volcano erupting yet. We've got the introduction first, explaining why you are where you are. You've got the build-up in terms of the sort of strange events, sort of clues, if you like, that something terrible is about to happen. And then you go on to, let's say, the morning that you're writing about of when the volcano actually erupted itself. So that's when you've got all your really exciting descriptive vocabulary going on here. Okay, whilst those next 2 following paragraphs are going to be in chronological order, so time order of the things that you saw, things that you heard, things that you felt, things that you smelt, etc., from that list of ideas that you had written down earlier. After that, your very final paragraph, you'll notice, is a little bit like in a newspaper report in terms of a reorientation. You'll notice you've gone from past tense, it was, reporting on the things that had happened, to present tense, it is. So you're now bringing your reader up to date with current events. So it says, it is 8 p.m. in the evening now, and still the sky is lit up with the fiery lava leaving the top of the volcano. It is calmer now and the volcanologists believe it will stop soon. This is a sight and a holiday I will never forget. So again, it ends on the writer's opinion about how they felt about what they'd seen. When writing your own then, there is the list of instructions here for you to work through. You can magpie from the model. In particular, we'd like to see you using the colons to introduce this expanded list with those semicolons being used to separate the ideas. And then we've got the structure really that we're looking for in terms of making sure you've got your introduction, your build up, and then the main event, as well as the chronological time order of events that you're writing about to describe there. You've got your success criteria checklist here for the eyewitness report, so it should be written in first person. It is in past tense, apart from the reorientation at the end when you bring the reader up to date with what's happening now. Chronological order, personal opinions and feelings, the description of the events as they happen in order, facts, dates and time, etc. are all important. At the end, make sure you've checked your work through, so read it through to check it makes sense. Have you checked all of your spelling and your punctuation, so think carefully about what your writing targets are in school, and check it then against the checklist, which we've got, again, the success criteria for the eyewitness report for you, so use that to help you. I know I've mentioned it before, but please make sure you are sending us some of your brilliant writing to our Harrison website here. We've got y5@harrisonprimaryschool.co.uk, and it'd be so lovely to be able to see some examples of your work that we can share in the following week's celebration assembly. Okay, I'm just going to flick back now to the full screen so you can see just me. Because I've just got a final few thoughts for you here, some exciting information that I want to share with you, in particular relating to Times Table rock stars and the top 10 for this week. Excitingly, we have 4 in Y5B, so congratulations Y5B. We have 3 in Y5R and 5S, and most excitingly, a massive shout out to Jake in Y5S for reaching top spot this week. So well done, Jake. Massive congratulations to you. If you haven't had the chance to look at Times Table Rockstars, please make sure you are keeping up with your times tables as well, as they're so important as the foundation to all your other areas of maths. And it'd be lovely to see more of you reaching those top spots in the weeks to come. I'm going to finish now. Just going to say thank you again so much for working so hard at home. We really look forward to seeing all of your photos and examples of work coming in to make us even more proud than we already are of all of you in Year 5. Stay safe, all of you, and we look forward to speaking to you again soon. Okay, see you later. Bye-bye.